My first comment here is good evening, but it's not, because it always has been an evening for the banquet. But hello, my name is Carol Certain, and I'm very pleased to welcome you on behalf of the Council for Academic Excellence to our 37th celebration program. We're delighted to be able to continue this celebration of excellence on the part of the students and their academic achievement. These students have taken demanding classes and excelled in them in order to earn enough points to qualify for their award. We also celebrate the part of the educators who have inspired the students to reach for these lofty goals. Whether you have challenged them in a classroom, on an athletic field, or in some other venue, we wish to thank you and let you know how much your efforts are appreciated. The Council also recognizes the contributions made by the parents and other family members toward the academic goals of these students. None of these young men and women would be here tonight without your love, guidance, and support. The Council is actually a separate organization from the school, comprised of 11 members currently, who besides recognizing our students with this honor program, also offer a scholarship for the High Point winner. In addition, we sponsor Bison Proud articles in the Benton Review, which honor our Benton Central alumni. We are definitely proud of our BC kids. But we would still offer the celebration program without the support and the efforts of the Benton Central administration and counseling staff. Mrs. Campagna and Mrs. Watt begin the process by calculating the points earned. Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Miller provide the addresses to us, and then they all work tirelessly on chasing down RSVPs, essays, and other details, as well as serving as our contacts at school. Mr. Robb and Mr. Vanderay are also very supportive in our efforts to encourage and reward academic excellence, and they will participate in tonight's program. Our sincere thanks go to all of you. In addition, we'd also like to recognize our school board members, Jennifer Barse, Chad Tolan, and Ray Villalobos, who are attending. We appreciate your support and thank you for being here. Some of our strongest and most faithful support comes from the Benton community. Without the commitment from these local businesses and people, the Council would struggle to make this program and awards possible. Many thanks to our sponsors, Benton Central CAAP, Mr. and Mrs. Judd Barse, Demeter LP, Farmers and Merchants Bank, Fowler Family Dentistry, Matthew Greaves, Mr. and Mrs. David Guthridge, Hoosier Associates Incorporated, Marcus Kirsch, John Clemmy, hashtag your landman, Kenny and Johnny McCleary, Puro Clean of Lafayette, Senesac Grain Farms, LLC, Warren County RMC, and West Lafayette Agri Sales. Wow, that's a lot of sponsors this year. Thank you so much. Finally, we would like to thank our many patrons who are listed in your program and in our PowerPoint presentation tonight. Each of your contributions certainly make our job easier. A big thank you to all of our donors. One quick note to help us tonight. Students and educators, as we call your name, please come forward and stand to the right or left of the podium. So if you're on this side, you're coming here. If you're on that side, you come here. There are 2 X's here. Please stand 3 feet apart, 3 feet apart from your favorite educator. You may take off your mask while you're standing in front of us as your tribute is being read. Please accept your gift at the table nearest you and return to your seat the most direct route. So if you're on this side and you're a junior, you're going to be getting your turvises like you seniors got last year. Seniors, you get these wonderful pad folios. The educator, our ladies both sides will give you your essay that you get to read later. It's going to be the same one read to you, but it's a special momentum of this day. And then you return back to your seat the same route you took. And now, without much further ado, the best. It's time for our program. And we'd like to welcome first our reader, Mrs. Bunty. Ms. Bunty.
The first student and educator being recognized this evening is Grace Adams, daughter of Danielle Sims and Bill Adams, and her favorite educator is Dennis Massey. I have the privilege of honoring Mr. Massey. Over the course of my years here at Benton Central, I've been lucky enough to take 5 of Mr. Massey's ceramic classes while also having the opportunity of serving as his teacher's assistant this past year. Mr. Massey is a man of many trades, a potter, an artist, a mentor, a friend, and creator. Everyone who knows him can recognize that he is a man of compassion, a nurturing husband, father, and grandfather. Through his many years of teaching, he has created an environment where his classroom thrives off of freedom of expression and encourages individuality. Mr. Massey finds beauty in the process because there are no mistakes in art. Not only have my own skills with clay grown, but I have learned many important life lessons. To have patience, good work is never rushed. To have understanding when the clay gods are laughing at my attempts with the potter's wheel. To learn to center myself and have a steady foundation not only on the wheel, but also in my life. To have pride in my craft and ultimately to know when it's that time to call it quits. Mr. Massey inspires us all with his undeniable passion for the arts and love for his students. In this year of uncertainty, one thing I know for sure is that Mr. Massey will never fail to provide a safe and loving environment and put a smile on my face with our daily banter and jokes. Mr. Massey and Grace Adams. Next is Courtney Albertson, recognizing Mrs. Fisher. The educator I would like to recognize today has been inspiring me to achieve my dreams since I was an 8th grader. Thank you, Mrs. Fisher. I will forever be grateful for all of your encouragement through the years. At my 8th grade conference, Mrs. Fisher helped inspire me to achieve a big goal that I had not even thought about having before. When talking with my mom and me, she said she could see me being the valedictorian of our class if I kept up my hard work. After hearing this encouragement, I set a goal for myself that I will soon achieve, as currently I am on track to be our class's valedictorian. This year I had the chance to be back in Mrs. Fisher's classroom as a yearbook student. Mrs. Fisher creates a collaborative and welcoming environment in her classroom that is also a comfort to be in. She cares about us not only as her students, but also cares about the other things happening in our lives. She always makes sure to encourage us in those activities and to check in to see how we are doing. She was a tremendous support to me during my college application process and helped to give me great ideas and new perspectives to include in my essays. I will forever be grateful I was able to be back in her classroom for my senior year. Thank you, Mrs. Fisher, for being a big support to me and inspiring me to achieve big goals. Courtney Albertson and Mrs. Fisher. Next is Kayla Boer, daughter of AJ and Amy Boer, and her influential educator is Mrs. Amore. Math has always been my least favorite class, but having a teacher like Mrs. Amore makes math much more enjoyable. She genuinely cares about her students' education and their well-being. She is very understanding, and she does everything she can to help us learn, which is encouraging as a student. She sets her students up for success in various ways. Mrs. Amore is always offering to help with homework after school or via email. I've taken her up on that offer many times, and I appreciate her patience and guidance. Learning calculus online is very difficult, but Mrs. Amore gave us an adequate amount of preparation and resources. Before each test, she creates a video of her taking the test. If she can see our class is really struggling with a concept, she'll push a test date back. Giving us that grace, the outcome is usually better comprehension and therefore better test scores. She understands that my class gets stressed about tests. One time, Mrs. Amore gave my class Little Debbie's snacks, her favorite, before a test to ease our nerves and reward us for our effort. It was so thoughtful. Being involved in student council, FFA, raising 2 school-aged children, and teaching several rigorous courses in high school, you would think she would have trouble balancing it all. However, Mrs. Amore does an outstanding job. She is an admirable educator. The grace, understanding, and passion she shows for her students' success and well-being is incredible. Her influence inspires me to show the same attributes as a future educator. Kayla Boer and Mrs. Amore. Next is Emma Booth, daughter of Matt and Nicole Booth, and she's recognizing Senora Screen. Mrs.
I can be both.
Hola.
Hola.
Entering high school, I knew I wanted to take Spanish, but I was also very nervous to learn a new language. Senora Screen was my teacher freshman year, and although I was nervous, I was also very excited to see where this class would take me. Since my first year of Spanish, I have grown to love it very much, and I want to thank Senora Screen for her part in helping me grow as a student and a person. Thank you, Mrs. Screen, for everything you have done over the past 4 years I have gotten to know you. There have been so many fun times, whether they were from freshman year, this year, or Spanish Club. Thank you for using your happy, enlightening personality to always be able to give me a laugh, even on the bad days. Your humor is truly unmatched, and all of the fun conversations we have during class always brighten my day. Thank you for being so relatable with me and everyone else you teach. Thank you for teaching me how fun class can be, even when it doesn't seem fun, especially when learning and possibly forgetting new grammar. Thank you for teaching me so much about different places and cultures all around the world. Also, thank you for keeping my box fan in your classroom since the weather project we did in 9th grade. I'm very glad I decided to take Spanish this year. You have truly influenced my studies, and I now would like to pursue a minor in Spanish in college. You are one of the most inspirational and amusing teachers I have ever had, and I'm so thankful to have had you as a teacher and club leader these past couple of years. I have grown and learned so much. I cannot thank you enough for all you have done. I'm definitely going to miss all of the laughs, conversations, Mo's days, and difficult homework assignments. Gracias por todo, Senora Screen. Next is Jade Cooper, daughter of Penny and Douglas Cooper, and she's recognizing Ms. Kintner. Dear Ms. Kintner, approximately a year and a half ago, I received the most bittersweet news. My longtime band director, Mr. Richardson, had received another job offer that was closer to his family. The whole band worried about how we would go on. However, the band found our saving grace in you. I was so excited when it was announced that you would be the assistant director. I remember back in 7th grade when you were our cadet teacher, I didn't talk with you much, but I could tell that you had a bubbly personality and a bright teaching style. Then in 9th grade, you helped with the marching band, and I loved you. We were upset that you had not come back to work with us the next summer. Everything happens for a reason, though, because now I get to enjoy the class with you 2 times a day. When I was told that I was being inducted into the Council for Academic Excellence, it was obvious who I would write a tribute to, none other than you, Ms. Kintner, AKA Ms. Kit Kat, Ms. K, and sometimes Maddie when I forget that you're my teacher now. Over the past 18 months, I have learned a multitude of things from you, one of them being that it is perfectly acceptable to put my well-being first. It was something that we could both relate to, as we are both natural tryhards. However, I learned that my well-being was more important than my government grade. With that advice, I learned to cut myself some slack. Every day is a new lesson. I wish I could relish all of them, but you know how forgetful I can be. I should start writing things on sticky notes just like you do. Nevertheless, I am so grateful to have you as my teacher. The laughs we share with you make my day, and I always look forward to telling you about my day and then hearing about yours. Thank you for all the effort and care that you put into what you do. Forever thankful, Jade. That's Jade Cooper and Ms. Kintner. Next is Thaddeus Foster, son of Paul and Patty Foster, and his favorite educator is Mr. John Whiteloff. Dear Mr. Whiteloff, I used all of my heartfelt and kind comments in last year's letter, but here is a brief summary in case you have forgotten. You are passionate and excited about what you teach in a brilliant way. I am grateful, inspired, and better because of your infectious excitement. Even in a pandemic, you have managed to make my senior year enjoyable. With 2 kids at home, you amazingly still have enough energy for multiple hours a day to actively teach all of your students. Just 48 minutes a day in the Designatorium with you over the last 4 years has been enough for me to land on a career choice and master the art of taking apart a TV remote when the batteries die. Despite your hoarding tendencies and oddly proportioned torso and arms, you were invited here tonight by 2 other students, which my mom may or may not have predicted. Thank you so much for having been and continuing to be the best engineering and technology teacher I could have ever asked for. Appreciatively, Thaddeus Foster. With that, and Mr. Whitelock. Jenna Fleming won't be able to be with us this evening, but she is recognizing Miss Kittner, AKA K-pop. When Mr. R left, many of the veteran band students were worried for what the future would look like for our beloved program. However, having Ms. K has been incredible. She's taken the band that Mr. R created and is already making it her own. She inspires a great work ethic in so many of us, giving a safe space to do what we love and have a good time doing it. It's plain to see how she genuinely cares for her students no matter what it is we're doing. Whether she's showing us a video on Alice the Camel, going through notes and rhythms with us, or sharing some college expertise, we know that Ms. K will do her best to help us no matter the situation. I will be forever grateful to have Ms. K both as a teacher and as a mentor to look up to. I can only hope that I too will be able to encourage and inspire others the way that she has for me. So that's Jenna Fleming recognizing Ms. Kittner. Now I will pass it off to Ms. Gail Lang.
We're ready to recognize Nicholas Fry, son of Jennifer and Roger Fry, and his favorite educator, Gary Grettencord. It's a weird thing living your entire life with people who subconsciously raise you and shape you, not only with words, but by actions and emotions. I've been very privileged to have my grandfather, Gary Grettencord, to teach me in the ways of life. Since the very beginning, he has been there, from being the limo driver, to my first day of school, to years of continuing to guide me along by giving me tips. For instance, in the old days at dinner time and riding in the combine until dark, we talked all about our day. He always shared what happened that day, and I told him about my homework assignments. His helpfulness, especially on English assignments, has gotten me far in my academic career. I find myself always going back to a saying of his whenever I am struggling with writer's block. Unfortunately, this saying is not school appropriate. However, it is tempting to add to this letter so his daughter could be embarrassed. I would like to thank my grandfather for showing me, through stories of his high school career, about having fun with your friends and to just have a good time. He may not have known it, but I took these stories as an example of how to live my life. He showed me that it's not always about your class rank or your grades. It's about if you are having fun or not. Thank you, Grandpa, for all the great moments. Nicholas Fry talking about his grandpa, Gary Grandcourt. Connor Hall, son of Jared and Tabitha Hall, and his favorite educator, Coach Ray. I have had many influences in my life, and Coach Ray is certainly one of them. I have only known Coach Ray for 2 years. We first met at a summer workout before my junior year. However, this year has felt much longer getting to know Coach Ray, as well as all the practices, including lots of sprints. This time has felt like an eternity. Through this time, we may not have always seen eye to eye on everything, but I have certainly learned many things playing for Coach Ray that I aspire to use well as we hold ourselves accountable. Without this, I don't know if I ever would have learned the value of having teammates and what it means to be a good teammate. Last, but most importantly, I have learned what it means to be passionate about something. Coach Ray is without a doubt the biggest basketball fan I have ever met, and this can be seen by the hours he spends involved with it. Coach Ray spends countless hours watching film every day, getting us ready for future games. He loves his job as a coach and is very passionate about what he does. Someday, I hope I can replicate this and be just as passionate about my job. In closing, I want to say thank you to Coach Ray for everything you have done for me. Although you have only been my coach for a short portion of my life, I will continue to use what you have taught me throughout my life. And that's Connor Hall talking about Coach Ray. Casey Hallenbeck, son of Chastity Hallenbeck and Chad Crick. Favorite educator, Ms. Taylor Jones. Dear Taylor, I'm grateful for the opportunity to thank you for the impact you have had in my life. Though I chose you last year, it only felt right that I honor you at the ceremony this year in person. Without your guidance and support, I wouldn't be where I am today. You've always been there for me and pushed me to do the best I can in everything I do. Your academic drive has motivated me to work as hard as you so I can make it to where you are now. Your drive has shown me the value of an education and how I should pursue every opportunity I am given. Just don't forget that even though your class rank is better than mine, I have a higher GPA. For now, my senioritis is kicking in. I know I can always turn to you in a time of need, and you will do anything you can to make sure I succeed. You've guided me throughout high school, helping me decide which classes to take, what clubs to join, and what path to continue on. In a few short months when I'm off to college, I know your wisdom and experience will guide me as I venture out and begin my own journey into the real world. I am truly blessed with the bond and relationship we have. It's moments like these we will cherish forever, as you once stood in the same place I am now. Only you are the one being honored tonight for your impact in my life. Now that you are officially a teacher, I know you will have influence on your future students as you have on me. I'm sure one day you'll end up in a similar position as a favorite educator, reliving this experience with another person you have influenced for the better. Thank you for everything you've done for me in all aspects of my life. Without you, I wouldn't be standing here right now. And that's Casey Hallenbeck and his favorite educator, Miss Taylor Jones. Hunter Hardebeck, son of Pat and Aaron Hardebeck, and his favorite educator, Coach Worf. I first met Coach Worf in the spring of 2018, my sophomore year, at a soccer call-out, announcing he was going to be the new head soccer coach. He spoke with much confidence and gave the team hope for a strong future season. I was astounded by how much he had already believed in us before he even had seen us play. Right from the start, he motivated me to become a better player, teammate, and to begin taking on a leadership role. As the team started having summer workouts, he would always preach the value of hard work. One quote he would repeatedly say was, "Hard work beats talent." This quote has stuck with me every day as I attempt to give my best effort in everything I may do. Coach Worf also taught me the importance of self-confidence. He did this by explaining that if you don't believe in yourself, then you are already going to fail before the game even starts. Coach Worf taught me to value taking good care of my body and health. After almost every practice, he would tell the team to drink plenty of water throughout the day, ice any sore muscles or injuries, and stay away from fast food and soda. Along with this, he would teach us the importance of strength training and the benefits it would bring in the game. I remember my freshman year, I wasn't very strong, going against mainly juniors and seniors at the varsity level. I would constantly get out-muscled on the field. The following year, Coach Worf had the team in the weight room several times a week, and I could definitely see a difference in my sophomore year on the field, as I could now compete strength-wise with the opponents. I want to thank Coach Worf for the great impact he has had on my life, for making me a better soccer player, teammate, and person in general. He has taught me to value hard work, self-confidence, and that you can accomplish great things by never giving up. That's Hunter Hardebeck and his favorite educator, Coach Worf. Austin Horde, son of Stephanie Horde, and his favorite educator, Melissa Robertson. Melissa, for the past several years, you have been an amazing mentor, director, and friend. I'm incredibly thankful for the experience I have gained with you. When I first joined theater, I had no clue whether I would enjoy it or not. I'm happy to say that I have loved every production I've been a part of more than I believe I could put into words. Thanks to you, I have found a second home within the auditorium. Without you, I don't believe this would have been possible. You have made the Benton Central Theater program into something amazing, a family. You always push us to do our best, to work together, to overcome any obstacles we may face, and most importantly, you bring us all together. Every moment I have spent on stage has been memorable, and I have learned so much. I've truly fallen in love with the art of acting, with the art of theater as a whole. By far, the most important thing you have done for me was helping me find my voice. Before I joined the theater my freshman year, I never would have been able to picture myself on stage, let alone acting in 6 productions. I never would have been able to stand up and speak my mind. You have given me the invaluable gift of confidence and courage. I would like to thank you so much for the impact you have had on my life and all you have taught me. My experience in theater has been an amazing journey and one I will carry with me forever. That's Austin Horde talking about Melissa Robertson. Jenna Jenkins, daughter of Travis and Kathy Jenkins, and her favorite educator, Dennis Massey. Mr. Massey has been one of my favorite teachers since I was a sophomore. He has influenced me in the most extraordinary ways over the past 3 years, not only through teaching, but developing a bond with me and being the most loving, caring, and encouraging teacher. He has never failed to remind me how much he appreciates my hard work and dedication to his class. Also, Mr. Massey checks in with me every day to see how I am and to give suggestions for my work. He loves to comment on how awesome he believes I am, and his words really boost my confidence. I believe that my success in ceramics is because of Mr. Massey, along with the ways he has helped with my work, and how he has always supported the person I am. He is such an outgoing, comical, kind-hearted person. I am beyond grateful that I have had the opportunity to learn from him and to become acquainted with him. Over the years, I have improved a significant amount, creating a variety of different pottery and sculptures. I would not have been able to better my ceramic skills without a teacher like Mr. Massey. Each day, I look forward to my ceramics class and the loving, positive environment Mr. Massey constitutes in his room. He deserves nothing but the absolute best because he is genuinely the sweetest and most down-to-earth person you will ever come across. If you have not yet had the opportunity to meet him, you are seriously missing out. Mr. Massey, I cannot thank you enough for all you have done for me and how much you have inspired me. I truly appreciate you so much. That is Jenna Jenkins talking about her favorite educator, Dennis Massey. Okay, and now Kenzie Kretzmeyer is going to do her reading.
All right, next up is my own sister, Carson Kretzmeyer, daughter of John and Christy Kretzmeyer, and her favorite educator is Miss Mullins. Today, I am honored to recognize Miss Mullins as my favorite educator. Her dedication to teaching students in and out of the classroom is one of the many reasons why I see her as an exceptional educator. From doing countless hands-on activities in class, going on field trips, allowing us to gain real-life experiences, to her passion for educating others are some things I greatly admire. Miss Mullins has mentored me as my ag teacher and my FFA advisor. I first worked with her when I was in 5th grade. Her dedication to the success of her students was very evident in the way she supported me through my FFA endeavors. She has big goals for her students and always does everything she can to help them to be successful in whatever they do. This is evident through the countless evenings and weekends she spends working with her students and FFA members. I have many memories of the hours she has helped me with anything from finishing speeches to studying and memorizing my knowledge for various contests. Thank you, Ms. Mullins, for always believing in me and pushing me to do my best in anything I do, for encouraging me to try new things and set big goals. We've been through all the ups and downs of high school, and I am grateful for the safe space I have in her room. I will forever remember what she has taught me, not only about agriculture, but also about the importance of helping others, hard work, and dedication. That's Carson Kretzmeyer with Miss Mullins. Next up, we have Caitlin Kroll, daughter of Dave Kroll and Rhonda Herbst, and her favorite educator is Jennifer Fry. Caitlin says, I want to thank Mrs. Fry for the constant support and the things that will push me to not only be a better person, but things that push me further into the career I want to have in the future. All summer long, with numerous emails and working around each other's schedules, you arranged it so I can have not only a school education, but also a work education. I am forever grateful for the time you spent sorting out a schedule for me to work and go to school on the same day, while still figuring out the exact classes I needed to obtain this award. If it wasn't for you, I would not have been able to receive this award with taking only 5 classes. Doing so has opened up so many different opportunities for me that I cannot wait to start. Doing all of this has made my determination soar. The aspiration that I felt when making these plans with you made me feel like I could really do whatever I put my mind to. You were, and still are, so supportive. You are always checking in on me and making sure everything is going well. Even just a simple wave in the hallways is an I hope everything is well with you. I am thankful for Mrs. Fry for making me a stronger, more independent person with more responsibilities. That is Caitlin Kroll with Jennifer Fry. Up next, we have Evan McHoffman, son of Ron Hoffman, and his favorite educator is Sarah Bannon. Sarah, it took me a long time to find a start to this letter. I felt so much pressure to write the perfect letter for you, but then I realized how ridiculous of a notion that was. I could never put into words how much you have done for me and how much you mean to me. Ever since I can remember, you have been like my second mother. Even before I can remember, you were always taking care of me. Whether that was by choice or by force, you were always there. I never realized the impact that you've had on my life until I was older, and then all I wanted to do was pay you back in some way, but you would never allow that. You ask for nothing in return as you have given me so much. You were always there for me when I needed someone to talk to. You were there for me when our mother passed away and I could not overcome the grief on my own. You were there for the midnight calls, my angry fits, and my days of sadness. You helped me with my homework and helped me finish driver's ed. You have witnessed most of my biggest mistakes, my biggest victories, and yet through all of it, your love and support has never faltered. You're my favorite educator because without your constant advice, help, and love, I do not believe I would be where I am today, academically and mentally. I cannot thank you enough for that gift. You inspire me to be my very best, and every day you are my #1 role model. I hope to one day be able to help someone like you helped me. I hope to give my everything to someone without even a thought and expect nothing in return. I hope to follow in your footsteps in the way you inspire and change the lives of everyone you encounter. You have certainly made a huge impact on my life, and I thank you again. That's Evan McHoffman to Sarah Bannon. Natasha Marin, daughter of Amber and Chris Carlisle, and her favorite educator is Mrs. Fitch. Unfortunately, Mrs. Fitch could not be here with us today, so Mrs. Manier is going to stand in for her. Today, I have the privilege of honoring Mrs. Fitch as my favorite educator. Mrs. Fitch has watched me grow and has guided me since junior high. Her unconditional compassion for all of her students, including me, has proven to be an outlet during high school. During my time at Benton Central, she has always had high standards for me, and it pushed me to be my best every day. Her motivating words in class every morning carried on to the rest of my day. This has always empowered me to finish each and every task to its fullest potential. She makes sure her students know she cares deeply about us beyond an academic level. The greatest thing Mrs. Fitch has taught me these past few years is to treat others with kindness. No matter how frustrating a situation was, she always had a positive outlook. I was able to absorb that idea into many other parts of my life. I am so grateful to have had this wonderful example of one of the kindest people I have ever met. Mrs. Fitch has proven time and time again that she is not only my teacher, but a wise mentor who always advises. She has always been one of my biggest supporters and an avid listener to anything I am going through. Thank you, Mrs. Fitch. That is Natasha Marin with her favorite educator, Mrs. Fitch. Logan Martin, son of Trina and Damon Martin, and his favorite educator is Kaylin Martin. When I was told that I had the honor of being inducted into the Council of Academic Excellence, I was thrilled. When I then realized I had to choose someone as my mentor, my introverted self was not so thrilled. There are so many people in my life that have had a positive influence in building the person I am today that in the beginning I thought it would be so difficult to choose. I knew the person I chose should have many exemplary traits such as determination, passion, and generosity. And then I realized I didn't have to look far to find a person that fit these qualities. That is when I decided to choose my own sister, Kaylin, as my mentor. Kaylin has been my mentor since the day I was born. After she came home from school, she would teach me everything she learned that day. We loved playing school. I was in Kaylin's class of 10 students, which consisted of 90% stuffed animals. Already knowing the material allowed me to excel in all my classes. I remember one night my parents were taking forever car shopping, typical, and so Kaylin taught me how to write cursive, using the Picto chat on our Nintendo DS's. Another quality that Kaylin possesses that so many people lack today is kindness. She has the purest heart and is ready to lend a hand whenever needed. As a habitual procrastinator, I pride myself on waiting until the last minute to complete projects with a theory that I work better under pressure. This has a tendency to backfire drastically, but I have been fortunate to have a big sister to help me with my school projects. Kaylin is also extremely passionate and caring outside of our house, too. She is always volunteering and helping others. Recently, Kaylin has influenced me to volunteer at a therapeutic course center with her. Overall, I am confident in my choice of choosing my sister and the favorite child as my mentor. She is constantly influencing me to become a better person and live up to my potential. She pushes me in everything I do, whether that is sports, academics, and everything in between. I don't know where I'd be without her. That's Logan Martin to his sister, Kaylin. Next is Kaylin Manier, daughter of Michael and Kelly Manier, and her favorite educator is Kelsey Manier. Kaylin says, to my mentor and coach, I will admit I was a bit annoyed my sophomore year when I found out you were going to be the assistant varsity volleyball coach at BC. Who wants their sister telling them what to do all the time? After all, you weren't at home to boss me around anymore. It was only a few days into practice when I realized how your love for the game, your ability to play the game, combined with your skills and knowledge, made you a great coach. Your constant drive and determination have taught me how to push myself harder and never give up. Now to my sister. There are so many things that I love about you and have to thank you for. First and foremost, thank you for just being you, an honest, loyal, dependable, and kind soul. Your ability to empathize with others and the compassion you show to complete strangers is something that sets you apart from anyone else. Your favorite phrase, "It doesn't cost anything to be kind to others," will forever remind me to be mindful of what I say and do. Through your example, you have taught me to put others first, unless it is fighting for the front seat or getting the last of the ice cream. All kidding aside, you are one of the most selfless people I know. You have set the bar high in everything you've done and continue to do. You are a great role model, and I am so glad that you hold the title of my big sister. As for the favorite daughter and granddaughter title you claim to hold, we shall see. Competition is stiff in our house, and I plan to give you a run for your money. I love you, and I'm proud to call you my sister and my best friend. That is Kaylin Manier to Kelsey. And up next, we have Mr. Arthur to finish off the seniors.
Our next recipient is Jolene Morris, the daughter of Ty and Lisa Morris, and her favorite educator is Miss Amanda Mullins. Mullins, I can't even put into words how much you mean to me. I cannot imagine making it through high school without you. I know I don't show how grateful I am enough, but I am. You have worked so hard to support me with what I want to do, and I wanted to express to you how thankful I am for that. I know you have sacrificed so much for me. You support me through all I do and are always willing to help me with what comes next. Whenever I have a competition or a project coming up, you will spend countless hours helping me to make sure it's perfect. It means so much to me to have such an amazing role model in my life. You have taught me how to be strong, hardworking, and a leader. You have provided me with so many important lessons that I benefit from each and every day. You have supplied me with endless amounts of love, even when I probably don't deserve it. Thank you for knocking some sense into me when I'm acting foolish. Thank you for the food, the amazing lessons, and for putting up with me and Casey at the same time. Thank you for all the advice, even if I didn't take it. Thank you for always reminding me how much you care for me. Thank you for being such an amazing educator. Thank you for always being there for me and teaching me so much. Jolene Morris, talking about Miss Amanda Mullins. Our next recipient is Austin Sandel, son of Tammy and Ken Sandel, and his favorite educator is Miss Melissa Robertson. To my drama director, Melissa, the life of an actor is never consistent. Parts are not guaranteed, and neither is success. In my time on stage, I've been able to be part of something that I didn't think was possible in high school. What has been created here at Benton Central is something truly special. Do you remember what people were saying about after the performances of Dracula? People were amazed with the talent on stage and the passion that came through every line. It didn't feel like a high school performance, it felt like a professional one. That wouldn't have been possible with any other director. No matter how talented the group of actors are, you bring something special to the table. The detail, thought, implementation, and dedication that you and your amazing sister Jessica put into every character, costume, prop, and set has taught me that effort and hard work makes a difference. The quiet, steadfast generosity of your time and willingness to see each one of your cast and crew. To see me as a unique and gifted human has taught me that one single committed person can change an environment for the better. The skills I've developed under your tutelage have helped me grow not only as an actor, but as a musical performer and in my job teaching younger musicians. I have had the time of my life. Thank you for coaching me, believing in me, pushing me, caring about me, and most of all, thank you for making an environment that I am proud to call home. To me, that is exactly what an extraordinary educator is all about. Sincerely, Austin Sandel, to Miss Melissa Robertson. Our next recipient is Sydney Schwartz, the daughter of Mike and Ashley Schwartz, and her favorite educator is Miss Barbara Schwartz. Everyone has that special someone that they look up to in life. That someone is there to guide, educate, and love you while you travel your own independent path. I am 18 years young. I fully intend to learn everything I can to the best of my abilities. Needing someone to look up to or to follow the footsteps of to have a great future, I look to my great aunt, Barbara Schwartz. My Aunt Barb is someone that holds your secrets, teaches you life lessons, all while showing you the best time. She's a favorite cousin and aunt to all of the Schwartz family, young or old, always managing to make time for each family member. Her and I love the same hobbies, including our love of travel, and more recently, we share a love of quilting. From the countless family reunions or traveling to visit this heroine, the sight and thought of Aunt Barb has always sparked a fire in me. My great Aunt Barb is full of humor, empathy, generosity, trust, and encouragement. I have chosen Barb Schwartz as my educator because she's always believed in me. To have someone in your life who depicts the living and breathing definition of loving educator brings a valuable impact on my daily choices. I believe that she is truly one of the most caring and understanding people to walk this earth. She not only believes in others, but she always believes in herself. She's a strong, independent woman, and that's who I strive to be someday. Thank you for everything, Aunt Barb. I love you. Sydney Schwartz, discussing Miss Barb Schwartz. Our next recipient is Adrienne Sinisak, the daughter of Rick and Jennifer Sinisak, and her favorite educator is Father Thomas Hahn. I never used to take the Catholic faith seriously. I went to Mass, CCD, Life Team, and from time to time I would even participate in the church dinners. I went through the motions with no purpose or appreciation. I didn't have a desire to read the Bible or understand why we believe what we do. But most importantly, I never really prayed. I remember one of the first questions Father asked us during our confirmation class, it was, "Would you die for the church?" At that time, I can honestly say that the answer would have been no. But who would have thought that one person could completely reverse such a heavy question? Father Hahn was my priest for just a single year, but the immense impact he left on my heart is a gift I can never repay. My faith now shapes every aspect of my life. How I see the world, science, math, and music. How I plan for my future, career, and family. Even how I write has been affected. Weaving biblical themes throughout my entire poetry portfolio, allowing me to illustrate the beauty of our faith and never overlooking the denial and struggle it took to get to that point. There's not a soul in our parish that doesn't miss Father Hahn's clever homilies and captivating passion. His impressive talent for teaching draws your attention, flipping your perspective on scripture and traditions, which is why I'm convinced that he has the power to convert just about anyone to the Catholic Church. He's someone I am blessed to have met, and he continues to bless those around him at his new parish, St. Louis de Montfort Church in Fishers. To write an appropriate tribute for Father in under 350 words is nearly impossible. We all have that one awesome person that you just wish everyone could meet. It saddens me the most to think that there are people in this world that haven't had the chance to meet him. I can't seem to thank you enough for what you have done, not just for me, but for our community. We're eternally grateful of God's decision to include you in our lives, regardless of how short of a time that may have been. You are truly one of a kind, and I pray you continue to change people's lives as you've changed mine. Adrienne Sinisak speaking about Father Thomas Hahn. Our next recipient is Kennedy Sloniger, daughter of Brandy and Robert Sloniger, and her favorite educator is Mr. Whiteloff. Mr. Whiteloff, to say that I am thankful for you and what you have done for me would be an understatement. Before I met Mr. Whiteloff, I was many things. I was unsure of myself, I lacked the confidence needed to better myself, and I feared failure. I remember the first time I met him very clearly. He was introducing his classes to the incoming freshmen, explaining to us what his classes were like and why we should take them, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I thought to myself, who is this bald guy and why is he so excited all the time? Then, the second time I met him was the first day of high school, and man, did he scare me. His positivity was overwhelmingly compared to my self-doubting personality. But soon that all changed. With each period, semester, and class that I took, I slowly, very, very slowly, began to find myself. If Mr. Whiteloff's classes have taught me anything, they taught me what careers I don't want to do for the rest of my life. But more importantly, they taught me who I want to be. I want to be the person that is optimistic and caring, who has a strong work ethic and is confident. And I truly think that with Mr. Whiteloff's help, I have accomplished all of these things that I want to be, except the confidence part. We're still working on that. I also want to thank you, Mr. Whiteloff, for working so hard to help me every day. Thank you for going out of your way to help me draft after class, for writing my most important recommendation letter, for helping me with my portfolio, and for being you. Without you, I wouldn't be nearly as far in life as I am today. Kennedy Sloniger speaking about Mr. John Whiteloff. Our next recipient is Madeline Vandeveer, daughter of Matt and Helen Vandeveer, and her favorite educator is Miss Monica Lohmuller. Today I have the amazing opportunity to recognize Miss Lohmuller for her passionate, creative ways of teaching. I first met Miss L through our youth group, Life Team. Miss L was the particular individual who made me realize I wanted to continue attending this group. She creates enjoyable ways for us to increase the knowledge of our faith while applying what we learn to our current lives. Miss L is proud of her faith and isn't afraid to show it, and that's another reason why I admire her. She inspires me and many other students to deliver our faith through serving others in our community and encourages us to take these skills outside of our community as well. I knew that every time I volunteered for a soup dinner, bingo night, or morning donut crew that I would see Mrs. L there because she really cares about us kids and she enjoys giving back to the community and the church. You can tell she loves what she does, which makes so much of a difference. A year later, I had Miss L as a chemistry teacher, and she had a lot of patience with me. Miss L would always help me after school on homework when I didn't understand, as well as early in the morning before tests to help me study. Miss L has also written multiple recommendation letters for me this year, which greatly helped me in my path to college, and I am extremely thankful for that. She always has a smile on her face and shows acts of humility when working with each of us kids, which can be hard sometimes. Nobody can disagree with me when I say that Miss L truly has a huge heart and a passion for helping others. Thank you, Miss L, for everything you've taught me in these past 4 years, showing me how to be a better student and largely a better person. Madeline Vandeveer, talking about Miss Monica Lohmuller. And our final senior recipient is Ivy Weiss, daughter of Dan and Melissa Weiss, and her favorite educator is Mr. Eric Wiley. I took 2 years of Mr. Wiley's manufacturing classes for 2 reasons. First, I love woodworking, but mostly because I also loved having Mr. Wiley as my teacher. The atmosphere in his class was one that made you feel comfortable when you walked in and one you knew you were free to speak your mind in. He had the knack to make every class enjoyable, even if we were just doing bookwork. There's a sign that hangs in the shop that says measure twice and cut once. He would always remind me of those 5 words, and that helped me to slow down whenever I got anxious or excited about a project to make sure it was the best work I could do. That is some of the best and most helpful advice I have received throughout my high school years. Mr. Wiley helped me see the value in patience and mistakes. He always saw my potential, even when I did not, and pushed me to grow my abilities little by little. He always extended a helping hand when I needed it, but also let me try to come up with solutions on my own. He encouraged me to keep going even when I was frustrated and struggling. Mr. Wiley has taught me so many life skills that I am able to utilize in my everyday life and will be able to for the rest of my years. Therefore, I am very grateful that I had the chance to have him as my teacher, mentor, and educator. Ivy Weiss speaking about Mr. Eric Wiley. At this time, I would like to turn things over to Mr. Vanderay.
Just want to start by saying congratulations to all of you seniors who have just received this awesome honor. I can tell you a couple months ago I met Mrs. Stout when she was explaining to me about the Council for Academic Excellence and the program and what it takes to qualify and for you to be here today. So again, congratulations, but also congratulations to you parents, because I know that this isn't something that your children can earn on their own. I do know that every week I enjoy reading about our awesome alumni and all the contributions that they've had by reading the Benton Review and the articles that Mrs. Lang writes. Listening to the speeches today, I'm sure that she's going to struggle to narrow down who to write about in the future. We have quite a few bright seniors who are offering our society a bright future. And to all of you educators that were recognized today, that just shows that investment that you give every day and the inspiration that you have to these young men and young women. And I just hope that all of you seniors remember these educators, and while today you wrote some awesome speeches thanking them, they will appreciate hearing from you in the future and all the successes that you have in the future, knowing that they played a part in that success. So again, congratulations to all of you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Corey Robin. I'm the principal here at Benton Central. I was given 2 specific tasks today, and I plan on accomplishing both of them. One of them was to remind all senior award winner students to come down here to the front at the end for a picture, and the second was to be brief, so don't let this portfolio scare you. I too would like to thank the council and its members for putting together today's event. This is very different from our normal event that we've had for the last 36 years. So I appreciate all the efforts you guys have put in to put this on and to put it together. My congratulations also to all of our students, our parents, and to our favorite educators. And in closing, I wanted to leave you with one thought. The last year has taught us a lot. Some of it good, some of it bad. But it's taught us to hold our loved ones a little closer, appreciate the little things like this banquet. So I appreciate everything you have done to put yourselves in a position to be here today, and I congratulate all of you. I know that each of you will do great things, but I also challenge you to remember where you came from and the community that gave you those opportunities. So thank you very much, and once again, if our seniors would come to the front for a picture, and everyone else, I hope you have safe travels home. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Carol Certain, and I'm very pleased to welcome you tonight on behalf of this afternoon, on behalf of the Council for Academic Excellence to our 38th celebration program. We're delighted to be able to continue this celebration of excellence on the part of the students and their academic achievement. These students have taken demanding classes and excelled in them in order to earn enough points to qualify for their awards. We also celebrate excellence on the part of the educators who have inspired the students to reach for these lofty goals. Whether you have challenged them in a classroom, on an athletic field, or in some other venue, we wish to thank you and let you know how much your efforts are appreciated. The council also recognizes the contributions made by their parents and other family members toward the academic goals of these students. None of these young men and women would be here tonight without your love, guidance, and support. The council is actually a separate organization from the school, comprised of 11 members currently, who besides recognizing our students with this honor program, also offer a scholarship for the High Point winner. In addition, we sponsor Bison Proud articles in the Benton Review, which honor our Benton Central alumni. We're definitely proud of our PC kids. But we could not offer this celebration program without the support and efforts of the Benton Central administration and counseling staff. Mrs. Campagna and Mrs. Watt begin the process by calculating the points earned. Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Miller provide the addresses to us, and then they all work tirelessly in chasing down RSVPs, essays, and other details, as well as serving as our contacts at school. Mr. Robb and Mr. Vander A are also very supportive of our efforts to encourage and reward academic excellence, and they will participate in tonight's program. Our sincere thanks go to all of you. In addition, we'd also like to recognize our school board members, Jennifer Bars, Chad Tolan, and Ray Villalobos, who are attending also. We appreciate your support and thank you for being here. Some of our strongest and most faithful support come from the Benton community. Without the commitment from these local businesses and people, the council would struggle to make this program and awards possible. Many thanks go to our sponsors, Benton Central CAAP, Mr. and Mrs. Judd Bars, Demeter LP, Farmers and Merchants Bank, Fowler Family Dentistry, Matthew Greaves, Mr. and Mrs. David Guthridge, Hoosier Associates Incorporated, Marcus Kirsch, John Clemmy, hashtag your landman, Kenny and Johnny McCleary, Puro Clean of Lafayette, Senesex Grain Farms LLC, Warren County REMC, and West Lafayette Agri-Sales. Wow, that's a lot of support for this year. Thank you. Finally, we'd like to thank our many patrons who are listed in your program and also in our PowerPoint presentation tonight. Each of your contributions certainly make our job easier. A big thank you to all of our donors. One quick note to help us today. Students and favorite educators, as we call your name, please come forward and stand to the right or left of the podium. And you're going to see there's X's marked in front of each of the tables. So if you're on this side, you're going to come down here with your educator and stand there on the X's. If you're on that side, you'll come down to that table and stand on the X's there in front. You'll stand 3 feet apart because the tape's there. You may take off your mask while you're standing in front as your tribute is being read. And we'd appreciate if you do. It would make for a nice picture if you feel comfortable doing that. Please accept your gifts at the table nearest you and return to your seat the most direct route. So juniors, your award is the Tervis Cup, and in the Tervis Cup, we kind of wanted to make, since we couldn't do a banquet, there's a special gift card in there to go out with your family. That's in your Tervis Cup, so get that from wherever you are. And then we also have an envelope with the reading of the essay for your favorite educator, so make sure you get both of those before you go back to your seat. And now, without further ado, the best, it's time for our program. And our first reader is Ms. Bunty.
Our first student and educator recognized this evening is Megan Asher, daughter of John and Michelle Asher. Her favorite educator is Mrs. Kim Fitch, who's not able to be here this evening, so Teresa Manier is standing up with her. I chose Mrs. Fitch to be my favorite educator because she cares about the well-being of her students and makes learning French fun. She's upbeat and positive and always lets her students use their creativity to influence their work in the classroom. There's many fun games that she has her students play that are educational, but also fun. Students in her class are engaged and happy to be in the class because Mrs. Fitch makes them feel comfortable there. Personally, Mrs. Fitch has helped me in a number of ways. While helping me become better at French, she has taught me several things, like how to manage stress in a healthy way and how to change my point of view on some subjects. For example, public speaking is always hard for me, and doing it in another language wasn't any better. It got to the point where I was hyperventilating anytime I had a presentation to do. Mrs. Fitch not only understood my fear, she accommodated me and gave me some ways to deal with that fear, like breathing exercises and different ways of thinking. She always had me look at the bigger picture. It was one presentation of my high school career. My classmates would have forgotten it by tomorrow, and so the only person I really needed to focus on giving my information to was Mrs. Fitch, which I was finally able to do. I still carry that advice with me and can apply it to a lot of things in my life, like softball or other classes. One mistake or bad day is not the end of the world. She has helped me grow so much in that way of thinking. So I'd like to say thank you for making such a positive impact on me. It's Megan Asher for Mrs. Fitch. Next is Cyrus Barr, son of Judd and Jennifer Barrs, and his favorite educator is Mr. Robeson. Mr. Robeson is a great teacher. I first had him freshman year for AP World History, which was a shift for me. It was the first AP class I was able to take, and it was a dramatic change. My friends and I still remember studying ancient Greece and Rome for tests, trying to remember which historical leaders created plumbing. Unfortunately, for our class, they decided the next year to change the class to be about modern world history, meaning that we couldn't be excited for the struggles future classes would have. Throughout AP World History, I know that I would not have been able to succeed without Mr. Robeson there to help me in the entire class. While it is frightening in that class to hear the phrases, "Cyrus, I'm going to pick on you. How would you answer this?" Or, "Elaborate on that further," it does help you understand the material better. This year I've been fortunate enough to have Mr. Robeson as my teacher in AP United States History and as a coach in Model United Nations. Along with learning about how he likes to mix his unsweetened and sweetened tea, I've been enjoying this opportunity to learn more about our nation's history and to learn more about how the United Nations work. Next year, I will also be able to have his class again in AP Government and possibly AP European History, as well as having him as a coach again. I would like to thank Mr. Robeson for how much he has taught me in my time at Benton Central and how far I have been able to grow in his classroom. So Cyrus Barson, and Mr. Robeson. Next is Claire Booth, daughter of Matt and Nicole Booth, and her favorite educator is Mrs. Manier. This afternoon, I would want to express my gratitude for Mrs. Manier and all that she does for me. It's not often that we get the time to say thank you. In fact, it's uncommon to stop and think about how others have impacted our lives. On this night, I would like to let you know how appreciative I am to have you as an educator. When I first met Mrs. Manier in junior high, I knew that by the time I was in her class, she would have an immense impact on my life, and she did. Whether it was during class or far from home in a basketball game, Mrs. Manier ensured that I was comfortable with extra help in the classroom and the occasional snacks. In all honesty, English is not a strong suit of mine. I never particularly enjoyed taking language arts classes, but Mrs. Manier completely transformed my mindset on the subject. The way in which you worked so hard to encourage me, are so dedicated to helping me alongside everyone else with any problems we may have, and your ability to connect with us on a personal level has made a huge difference in the way I learn and think. You truly did the impossible by making me enjoy English class. You have inspired countless students to be better people with the passion you convey in each class. Mrs. Manier, you are not only my teacher, you are a friend and a mentor who always pushes me to do my best. Everything you do is appreciated. I will never meet anyone as selfless and impactful as you. Thank you. That's Claire Booth and Mrs. Manier. Next is Blake Buchanan, son of Alan and Jamie Buchanan, and he's recognizing Mr. Bill Foster. Bill is not your typical educator you would think of, since he is not a teacher. However, he has played a big role in making me the person I am today. I've only known Bill for a few years. However, it feels like I have known him my whole life. Bill helps out by doing stats for the boys and girls basketball teams. I first got to know him my freshman year whenever I helped him with stats during the boys' varsity games, since I only played JV. Bill asked me to help him one game because he knew my family and he lives near my grandpa. I ended up helping him every game after that. Bill and I bonded greatly that year. Now, since I cannot help him, I make sure to catch him before and after every game. My brother has even started helping him with stats this year. That same year, we decided to change churches. Bill just happened to be an elder at our new church, so I really got to bond with him over more than just basketball. Now, whenever I miss church, he always makes sure to get on me. Bill is always supporting me in whatever I do and has been a great mentor for me. I'm so glad and thankful that I've been able to bond with Bill over the last few years. He will continue to be someone I look to for advice and know he will keep me on my path in the future. It's Blake Buchanan and Bill Foster. Next is Kyra Buck, daughter of Jerry and Carrie Buck, and her favorite educator is Ms. Amanda Mullins. Mullins and I first met in FFA. I was one of the quietest and least social kids in the club. I knew no one in the club, and I hadn't made many friends at the time. Miss Mullins made me feel welcome in FFA, and she saw potential in me that I didn't even see in myself. After my first couple of years in FFA, I was only doing fundraising and community service activities, but not so many competitions. Mullins pushed me to get out of my comfort zone and started helping me with public speaking, becoming a leader, and enrolling me in as many competitions as I could handle. Thanks to Mullins, I am now achieving more things than I could ever imagine. I'm no longer afraid to talk in front of a large group of people, and I am now an officer serving for my FFA chapter. I met one of my best friends through FFA thanks to Mullins motivating me to challenge myself and continue building my character with her through agricultural classes and FFA. Mullins has taught me many things that I didn't know about myself, and for that I will forever be grateful. She dedicates so much of her time to her students and the FFA program. She's one of the most dedicated people I know. Mullins has prepared me for the real world outside of high school, and I'm forever grateful for the many great things she has taught me. Thank you, Miss Mullins. Kyra Buck and Amanda Mullins. Our next student isn't able to be here this evening, Allison Cecil, daughter of Josh and Amanda Brose, but we're recognizing Senora Screen. We are recognizing both of you. I have the honor to talk about why Senora Screen is my favorite educator in not only academics, but in life skills as well. I had Senora Screen my freshman year for Spanish 1. When I was in her class, she taught me all of the basics of speaking Spanish. Without her help, I definitely would not be in Spanish 3 right now. I would be lying if I said I did not go to her for extra Spanish help. After having Senora Screen my freshman year, I became her teacher's assistant my sophomore year, and this year she let me keep my basketball bag and jacket in her classroom. I have always felt so comfortable being able to tell her what my struggles were, and she's never failed to listen and help me get through the tough times. 2 of the biggest pieces of advice that Senora Screen has given me are that I should always look on the bright side and that I could not worry about what other people think about me. She always tells me that if I worry about what others are thinking about me, then I will be scared to do or try anything. Whenever I would get my bag from her classroom, she would always tell me to have fun at practice with a big good luck. Senora Screen has always wanted to know how a game went or how a game is projected to go. She's always been interested in all of my accomplishments, and I think that is just one of the many qualities that makes her an excellent teacher. I feel so blessed that I have been able to have such an amazing teacher as Senora Screen. Thank you for all you have done for me. To Allison Cecil and Mrs. Heather Screen. Next is Keith Burge, son of Brian and Sharon Burge, and we're recognizing his favorite educator, Ms. Kintner. Ms. Kintner has had an impact on me that will last for years to come. The amount of care and compassion she has not only for the band program, but for her students is admirable. High school has been rough, especially in the middle of a pandemic that has completely uprooted our way of living and diminished our expectations for the 4 years that were supposed to be something to remember. She has gone above and beyond to ensure that these expectations are still met or exceeded for every one of her students this year. As we walk into the band room, we can count on being asked how my day's going and if things are wrong. She genuinely seeks to understand what is going on in our lives and provides resources to assist in tackling those issues. In other words, she just gets it. The amount of compassion shown daily has the ability to change so many people's lives for the better, as it has mine. She's provided me with opportunities and the confidence to chase aspirations that I would have never imagined to be possible. Going into marching band this year, I had little confidence in my ability to successfully take on the role of drum major that had been granted to me. For the first few practices, I definitely struggled, but consistent reassurance that I was doing things correctly provided a foundation for gaining the confidence necessary to successfully lead a group of bored teenagers who couldn't care less about playing a show this year. I have a great amount of admiration for her ability to take charge and provide some form of stability to our band program that's gone through so much change that could have been our downfall after years of success. The lessons I have learned from band and from conversations with Ms. Kintner will go beyond the doors of this building for years to come, and for those, I will be forever grateful. That's Keith Burge and Ms. Kintner. Now I will pass things on to Mrs. Jennifer Fry.
Our next recipient is B. Cobb. B is the daughter of Kevin and Meredith Cobb, and her favorite educator is Mr. James Wharf. Today I'm taking this incredible opportunity to honor James Wharf. Although I have known Mr. Wharf for 3 years, he is like family to me. I am so grateful to have met him at such an influential time in my life. I first met Mr. Wharf in my freshman year PE class and didn't like him for the first semester. When the new year came, we started getting along, and he soon became one of my most valued people in my life. He delivers life lessons when I don't know I need them and guides me through some of the most challenging moments in my life. He continuously encourages me to become a better version of myself. He is one of the most passionate, sincere, funny, and caring people I have ever known. Some of the best conversations and memories I have are with him. He uses his experiences to put things into perspective for me, such as telling me not to worry about little things like math tests or golf matches that don't go my way. I will never forget after sophomore year swimming sectionals. I added time on my 200 freestyle and was very upset with myself. I silently went up to him and he told me, "Don't be angry, it's not that big of a deal." While it sounds very simple, those words are something I take with me every day. If I walk in his room without a smile, he will spend the next hour telling me how wonderful of a person I am, how many great things I will accomplish in my life, and how much he cares about me just to cheer me up. He's taught me compassion, resilience, and the importance of being myself. We have watched each other grow these past few years, and I can say with complete certainty that I would not be the person I am today without him. While I am only a junior in high school, I know he will be a lifelong friend. That's B. Cobb speaking about Mr. James Worf. Next is Paige Creek, daughter of Brent and Megan Creek, and her favorite educator is Mr. Eric Wiley. When I was asked to pick my favorite educator, Mr. Wiley was the first person who came to mind. I am honored to have been taught and coached by Mr. Wiley, and I couldn't have asked for anyone better. Mr. Wiley's impact and influence on me started in 8th grade when I was in his engineering class. Almost every day, he would ask me to join the golf team. He would bombard me with papers about the upcoming workouts he wanted me to attend. Eventually, I caved in, and it was one of the best decisions I've made in my high school career. I never imagined that I would be playing golf, but I am beyond glad I made the decision because it has allowed me to have the best coach. Mr. Wiley has never given up on me or any of the other golfers. He never fails to encourage me, make me laugh, and lift me up when I need it most, even when my unruly shot had hit 2 of my classmates. Oops. Mr. Wiley, thank you for everything you have done for me on and off the course. You will always be someone I look up to. You have made me a better person and a better golfer. I am honored to have been a part of your team and a student in your classroom. You have taught me so many valuable life lessons and skills, and I can't thank you enough. Paige Creek speaking about Mr. Eric Wiley. Keen Gerlach, son of James and Patrice Gerlach, and his favorite educator, Mr. James Worf. Worf has made a huge impact on my life. It is an honor to talk about him and how he has changed my life. When I first met Coach Worf when I was a freshman, since I've known him, he has been the most hopeful and helpful person I have ever met. He has been there for me during my ups and downs, and not just for soccer. One thing I admire about Coach Worf is that he is trustworthy. I can tell him something, and I know he will keep it confidential. He is always truthful towards our team, and he even tells us how it is, whether it hurts or not. He always lets us know when he is impressed with us. Coach Worf is also a hilarious person. When I first met Worf, I didn't know if I could be myself or if I would have to suck up. Within the first 30 minutes of our first workout, I realized I could be myself and unleash my humor. Ever since that first workout, I learned from Worf that being a team isn't just about the sport. It is about the laughs we share, the memories we make, and the ongoing fact that we will always be there for one another. While Worf is my coach, he is more like another older brother, because even though we may butt heads at times, we always make up in the end. Worf has supported me since he has arrived at Benton Central, and I know that no matter what I do, Worf will always have my back. With this, I conclude my expression of gratitude towards Coach Worf. Thank you so much for everything you have ever done for me. Keen Gerlach, speaking about Coach Worf. Next is Madison Hall, daughter of Lee and Felicia Hall, and her favorite educator, John Whiteloff. Mr. Whiteloff, you are my true definition of an educator. From that moment I walked into your classroom on the first day of IED, you instantly had an impact on me. The atmosphere you created with each and every student in that class is something that very few teachers have the skill of being able to do. For me, I have noticed throughout my years how you make sure every student gets their chance to thrive and be successful, to become the greatest version of themselves because you believe in them. For me, that rings true in more places than one. Inside of your engineering classes and high mileage, you have given me the chance to step out of my comfort zone and find out things I had never known I would be interested in and be able to do. You have entrusted your faith in me to even become the driver of one of the high mileage cars. That is something that not many people will ever get the chance to be able to do. This faith doesn't just end at 3 p.m. when we walk out the door. You really do care for each and every one of your students and how they are really doing. I remember during the first week of school, you told us to come to you if we ever needed to talk, if we needed anything at all. That openness is not something you normally find in an educator, and I thank you for that. To you, your students are more than just kids you see for 45 minutes a day. You go above and beyond, and I thank you for everything you have taught me and your continued support for not only me, but for the students that walk under the roof of S160 to achieve their wildest dreams. Opal and David are lucky to have you as their father, and I wish you the best. On behalf of every student you have had an impact on, I thank you. Madison Hall, speaking of Mr. Whitelaw. Next, Megan Hardebeck, daughter of Glenn and Marnie Hardebeck, and her favorite educator, Mr. Worf. When thinking about what educator that has made a strong impact on my character, Mr. Worf was an easy decision. As my freshman year PE teacher, he demanded the best from me in a class that I normally would have taken as a joke. Worf's idea of tough love was hard for me to grasp at first. I would get mad at him for singling me out in front of everyone, or throwing a ball a little or a lot harder at me than the others. But after one very frustrating day and a long, intense one-on-one discussion, he explained to me why he went a little harder on me than the others. He saw that I was soft and that I needed to toughen up and be able to handle adversities that would come at me in the future. At the time, I hated him and thought it was unfair, but now I am more appreciative than ever. Worf wanted me to be able to take criticism and use it to better myself. He emphasized that other people are going to hate and judge you from a distance, so the only thing I can do is control how I respond. And he always wanted me to respond with success by proving them wrong. Worf helped shape my character that day and show me that he really did care about me as a person and not just the fact that he used to live on the same road as me. Megan Hardebeck, speaking about Mr. Worf. Next is Justice Johnson, son of Tracy and John Johnson, and his favorite educator, Mr. James Worf. You at least get to change sides. I met Mr. Worf for the first time my freshman year of high school, and since then he has been one of my favorite educators here at Benton Central Junior-Senior High School. Although I have never actually had him as a teacher or coach, he has been a great mentor and friend throughout my high school career. He motivates me to keep working hard in school and in life, while also supplying me with granola bars and other snacks. While here at BC, Mr. Worf tried to recruit me to be on the soccer team numerous times, and eventually, I gave in. After a few weeks of summer workouts, I decided it was not for me and did not play for the team in the upcoming season. Even though that was my decision and it bummed Mr. Worf out, he still maintains a positive attitude towards me. We regularly have conversations in the morning and afternoon during school. He constantly encourages me when it comes to my other sports and in the weight room. That means a lot and helps me strive to be a better athlete. As graduation draws closer, I hope he'll continue to motivate and encourage me so that I do the best I can. It has been a pleasure getting to know Mr. Worf, and I know many other people feel the same way. You have been a great mentor and teacher, as well as a great friend, and I thank you for everything you have done for not only me, but for all of the students and your players. That is Justice Johnson speaking about Mr. Worf. Next is Tabitha Martin, daughter of Pam and Jake Martin, and her favorite educator, Mr. Arthur. The first time I met Mr. Arthur was when I walked into his world history class sophomore year. At first, his spontaneous bursts of energy and side conversations he had with students intimidated me. My last wish was to have an awkward conversation with a teacher I had never had before and in a classroom where I had few friends. However, I soon came to find his high energy and conversations to be what kept me interested and awake during the morning class. He tried to create a familiar environment in his classroom on the first day by having us do an activity to get to know each other. He joked and asked questions, and I could tell that he was genuinely interested in the answers. He would talk to every student, which showed how he cared to know us, or at the very least, entertain us during class. Many times, Mr. Arthur would talk about different topics during free time, such as his cross-country team, baseball, high school stories, and so much more. He asked every student about joining the cross-country team weekly, but I didn't think he would actually be a factor in convincing me to join. Starting out, I had never even run 2 consecutive miles, but he believed in me and encouraged me to work hard. I began to see improvements. It was terrifying joining a sport as a junior, and one where most athletes have years of experience. But he never doubted me. He showed me that I could accomplish much more than I imagined and never made negative comments towards anyone's performance. He was always giving constructive criticism that actually helped me to become better and inspired me to work harder than I ever had on anything before. His impeccable humor, encouraging attitude, and care for his students is what makes Mr. Arthur my favorite teacher. Tabitha Martin speaking about Mr. Arthur. Next, we're going to hand it over to Mrs. Lang.
Let me get organized here. Next, we have Olivia Manier, daughter of Stacy and Teresa Manier, and her favorite educator, Edgar Manier. When selected for the Council for Academic Excellence, I knew I wanted to take this opportunity to thank someone who has done so much for me in the past 17 years of my life and honor them publicly. From the day I was born, to teaching me how to read by reading me my favorite childhood book, Brown Bear, Brown Bear, to even bringing the one who taught me how to even being the one who taught me how to drive, you have always been there for me through every milestone in my life. You have even taught me my biggest life lessons. You taught me how to be a good role model for others, and you showed me how to truly love my family. You have always been my biggest supporter at my cross-country meets, pushing me to do my absolute best and to never give up no matter what life throws at me. The number of memories we share together is unmatched. I always cherish the amount of Halloweens that I got to spend with you and Grandma, going trick-or-treating, and then going to Pizza King afterwards for dinner. Making candy with you around Christmas time each year is always my favorite time. Every Christmas and Thanksgiving we spend together is always memorable. I am blessed that I was allowed to be there for you as much as you were for me when you needed someone when Grandma passed. Time isn't infinite, but I'm glad I get to spend most of mine with you. So, Grandpa, thank you for always being my #1 supporter and for always being in my corner when I need you the most. I don't know where I would be without you. Olivia Manier speaking about Edgar Manier. Some of these get me a little teary, sorry. Okay, next we have Carly Musser, daughter of Curtis and Crystal Musser, and her favorite educator, Janelle Hardebeck. After receiving the papers in the mail that I was invited to the Council for Academic Excellence, I knew that Janelle would be my favorite educator and definitely very deserving. Janelle has taught me numerous things about life, and I couldn't be more thankful for her listening ear, wisdom, and advice. She has always been the one that has encouraged me to pretty much do anything, even after my mom has already tried to guide me and I didn't listen. From being my junior high school counselor to present, Janelle is like another mom to me. Thank you for always supporting me in my decisions, making sure I know my worth, and encouraging me to stand up for myself. A huge thanks for all the meals you included me in when I had actually only come to just pick up my sister. For the meals you made for my family when we weren't feeling well, because as some know, I'm not very talented in the kitchen. Janelle has seen me at my best and probably my worst. She has talked me off a ledge when I get easily frustrated with sports and want to give up, but never did. She always welcomes me to come over when I need to rant about life. There have definitely been some wild memories with you that I will never be able to forget. Remember when you had that mouse stuck on the trap and you were too scared to get rid of it? We won't share the rest of the story. I am beyond thankful for your guidance, encouragement, and all you have done for me through my education so far. And that is Carly Musser talking about her favorite educator, Janelle Hardebeck. Everett Nally, son of Heather and Patrick Nally, and his favorite educator, Carolyn Farrell. Ms. Farrell has left a lasting impact on me because she did the impossible. She actually got me to enjoy an English class. We all have that one subject that we don't like, and for me, that has always been English. I never saw much point in learning all the ins and outs of stories and how the author was feeling when they wrote them. We still had to do that in Miss Farrell's class, but she made it fun. Most English projects are simply writing an essay, which can be kind of boring, but only 2 of our projects that entire year were essays. I actually wanted to write them. She gave us a lot of freedom, and I will never forget my 9th grade argumentative essay because it was over why Waluigi, yes? should be in Smash. I have no idea what that means. No other teacher probably would have accepted that. Miss Farrell's class was fun, and I actually remembered a lot of the things we read and studied. When we read To Kill a Mockingbird and were talking about the use of the N-word, we didn't just stare at words on a slide. She used examples we would understand, like in music and PewDiePie on that bridge. She made her lessons engaging, and I wanted to learn, even when I already knew a lot of the information. Thank you, Ms. Farrell, for everything you've done. Thank you for putting up with my insanity in your class and helping me channel it into my work. Thank you for actually starting a D&D club. Thank you for having a fun class that stands apart from the others. And thank you most of all for being my teacher. That's Patrick Nally, or Everett Nally, sorry, Patrick, talking about his favorite educator, Carolyn Farrell. Next, we have Livia Ritchie, daughter of Jen and Dan Ritchie, and her favorite educator, former coach Tiffany Bushman. I am so grateful to have the opportunity to speak about the impact that my former coach Tiffany Bushman has had on my life. Although I was only coached by Tiffany Bushman for 2 years, her impact on my confidence and the way that I view a team will last forever. I came into my 9th grade cheer tryouts with more fear than you could imagine. As a shy 15-year-old, the last thing you want to do is be held in the air in front of a huge crowd. But Coach has known me better than I've ever known myself since the day I walked through the door. She can read me like a book. She has instilled an everlasting love for cheerleading in me, as well as a confidence that is displayed not only on the sidelines, but in everyday life. I wish that you could still be here to motivate me through every last one of our games and competitions. But don't worry, I still think of you every time I forget to bring something extremely important and realize it when we are on the bus 2 hours away from home. Your scatterbrain, as you like to call it, is so incredibly missed on the team. Almost as much as you repeating, "Let's just do it one more time," after we've already done it 500 times. I'm so blessed to have had you as my coach. Hopefully we can rack up a couple of first place trophies in your honor at competition next year. Coach, thank you for creating such an amazing team that I now get to call my best friends. And thank you for being my #1 cheerleader in everything I accomplish. That is Livia Ritchie speaking about Coach Tiffany Bushman. Tressa Senesac, daughter of Rick and Jennifer Senesac, and her favorite educator, Mrs. Butler. I am so grateful to be able to share with you the positive impact that Mrs. Butler has had on my life. I did not have the privilege of having Mrs. Butler in class, but that doesn't take away from everything she has taught me throughout my years here at Benton Central. As some of you may know, Mrs. Butler is also a girls' basketball coach, so I get to spend a lot of time with her throughout the season, maybe a little too much. The sacrifices she makes and the effort she puts in inspires me to persevere and work hard each day. Mrs. Butler has taught me many valuable lessons in life and has influenced me in many ways. The way she balances teaching, coaching, and her family life is admirable to so many, including me. Butler can also almost always tell when I'm feeling down, and her ability to cheer me up or take my mind off something is something I am very thankful for. Butler has taught me many things. One being to know your value and to stand up to others when they do not treat you with respect. She has taught me that respect is not given, but it is earned, and that is something that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. Mrs. Butler is more than just a teacher to me. She is a coach, a friend, and an amazing role model that I will always look up to. That is Tressa Senesac talking about Mrs. Butler. Jesse Stout, son of David and Stephanie Stout, and talking about Coach Zach Ray. My favorite educator is Zach Ray, but I refer to him as Coach Ray. He has been a basketball coach and a teacher in the Benton Community School Corporation for 2 years. In these short 2 years, he has done a lot for me as my coach and mentor. It seems like I spend more time with him than anyone else, besides friends and family, especially during the season. The time we spend together is never wasted and is always enjoyable. Well, at least I think Coach has a good time until I mess something up. Coach Ray has taught me many things, and I don't even have him in class. I have learned a lot about basketball from Coach Ray, but he has also taught me several life lessons which I will remember my whole life. He has taught me to work hard and have respect and appreciation for the things we are given. On Coach's more intense side, he has encouraged me to not back down or listen to anyone who tries to bring you down or who has a low opinion about you. He brings out the best in me as a player and person. I would like to thank you for everything you have done for me and taught me. I really appreciate it. We still have one more year to make as many memories as possible. Thank you, Coach Ray. And that's Jessie Stout. Courtney Tolan, daughter of Chad and Katie Tolan, and her favorite educator, Mr. Arthur. When I was asked to choose my favorite educator at Benton Central, the choice was easy. Mr. Arthur has been my cross-country coach for my entire high school career thus far, as well as my history teacher in 8th grade. He was also a huge part of putting together and chaperoning my class's trip to Washington, D.C. The dedication and time that he puts in is inspiring to me because not only is he a teacher and coach, but also a husband and father of 2 young daughters. Despite this, he still makes time for practices and meets, including 7 a.m. practice on Friday mornings and Saturday morning meets with a smile. I wouldn't be the runner I am today without the time he puts in and his ability to encourage me and lift me up, even after I feel like I had a bad race. Not only does Mr. Arthur put dedication into cross country, but also humor. Running isn't always fun, but Mr. Arthur always finds a way to make it interesting, whether that be from telling stories about his life or cracking jokes. I always find myself laughing during practice. Sometimes I forget that he is a coach because I feel like I can say anything to him and have conversations with him as if he is a friend and not a coach. One of my favorite memories with him was during summer conditioning practices when we discovered a homeless man who pitched a tent along the side of the school. Mr. Arthur had to go up to the tent, which I think is pretty brave, and wake the man up, who was still sleeping after biking into Benton County the night before. Where many people would make a big deal out of the situation or be angry, he was able to find the humor in the situation and laugh it off. This is why I would like to take this time to say thank you for everything you do for me and the school. The work you put in is appreciated and doesn't go unnoticed. You've had a bigger impact on me and many others than you know, which is why I'm grateful and excited to have one more year at Benton Central to spend with you as my coach. And that's Courtney Tolan talking about Mr. Arthur. Now we have Mr. Kukarts.
Next up, we have Kennedy Tolan, daughter of Barry and Amy Tolan, honoring her favorite educator, Mr. John Vernon. I am delighted to have the opportunity to recognize the man, the myth, the legend, John Vernon. Vernon, or better known as Verndog, has always been compassionate and supportive in everything I've done. With every injury, illness, and quarantine, Vernon has always checked up on me repeatedly to make sure that I was doing well, even when it was out of volleyball season. If I ever appear to have my head down and look like I'm having a rough day, Vernon always makes sure I'm okay and offers an ear to listen. Your cringy dances and phrases that are said in practice help lighten the mood and give me a good laugh. They also make me feel better about my dancing skills, or lack thereof. Our comfortable ability to make fun of each other and not take it personally is an enjoyable thing that not all athletes and coaches are able to do. Vernon is one of the most supportive coaches I've ever had and tries to help me succeed with any goals I have. Even if I were not doing volleyball, I could always count on a tweet from Vernon or a remind message from him congratulating me and telling me how proud he was. Vernon always has encouraged his athletes to go out and be teenagers, and that is something I admire about him. When I get stressed out with school, Vernon always makes sure to remind me not to be so worried about my grades and to go enjoy my teenage years that I only get to live once. I was thrilled this state of mind also goes into his classroom, and he never assigned us homework, unlike most teachers. Overall, I would like to thank you, Vernon, for always believing in me and never giving up on me. Knowing I have a support system like you makes me feel like I can accomplish anything. And that is Kennedy Tolan honoring Mr. John Vernon. Next up, we have Harrison Wheeling, son of Chad and Missy Wheeling, honoring his favorite educator, Mr. Hughes. I've known Mr. Hughes for a good while now, and he's been a great coach and mentor to me thus far. The first time I met Mr. Hughes was in junior high when he was my track coach, and from that point forward, he has helped me grow both as a person and an athlete. Mr. Hughes has since coached me in cross country, swimming, and some track as well. Regardless of the sport I'm in, he is someone I can go to for advice or to bother with dumb questions. While he has helped me in numerous ways, one that stands out is how far he has had me come from this past cross-country season when I was racing at our regionals. I was falling from the place I needed to move on, and at the moment, I didn't think that I could make it. However, as I was about halfway through the race, I remember him yelling that I needed to pick it up or I wasn't going to make it. This really got me motivated, and I think that pushed me more than I imagined because I ended up moving on to semi-state from that race. The reason I've been motivated to go beyond my athletic pursuits can largely be attributed to Mr. Hughes. I am truly grateful for what he has taught me, and I would like to thank Mr. Hughes for all that he has done for me. Harrison Wheeling, honoring Mr. Hughes. Next up, we have Natalie Williams, daughter of Lonnie and Vanessa Williams, honoring her favorite educator, Ms. Jacoby. Today, I would like to recognize and thank Ms. Jacoby for the positive influence she has had on my life. Not only have I been able to strengthen my writing skills, but she has also been a positive role model for most of my high school career. Ms. Jacoby is one of the most compassionate and genuine people I know. She is willing to listen to me complain on hours at end. Not only will she put up with my big mouth, but she is very empathetic towards my problems, which are really only minor inconveniences, but because I dramatize everything. Whenever I need advice, she is always there to help, which I am grateful for because I am very indecisive. Ms. Jacoby also prioritizes her students' feelings over anything else. During the beginning of the pandemic, she was very flexible and considerate of us and our situations. Ms. Jacoby is willing to go into any challenge with a smile on her face, which has made an incredible influence on my perspective of certain situations and has taught me to always look for the good no matter the circumstances. I think what makes Ms. Jacoby so influential in my life is that she has no problem relating with her students. It is clear that she has a love and passion for teaching. Ms. Jacoby has made nothing but a positive impact on my life, and I'm greatly appreciative to be able to thank her for her influence. That is Natalie Williams, honoring Ms. Jacoby. Next up, Anna Marie Wilson, daughter of Jennifer and Greg Wilson, honoring Miss Carolyn Farrell. Ms. Farrell, from day one, you have had such an insane impact on me. The minute I walked into your classroom, I knew that I would thrive, not just academically, but as a person. And I did it, thanks to you. I felt like I could express my thoughts and creativity freely, even if the outcomes seemed a little extreme enough to even cause a word limit on a short story project. You would think the short project would be just that, but no, my group had to be extra. You included us to pursue the challenge, and the result made me begin to realize something. Eventually, after reading more books and stories, and yet another project in which my friend and I were basically forced to express our admiration for our favorite teacher, I completely realized why you are such an important role model in my life. It is because I can see a part of myself in you. You are someone I aspire to be after high school. Well, maybe not an English teacher, but else about you. You generally care for all your students, encourage us to pursue dreams and goals, even if we're crazy ambitious and don't know when to stop. You made class exciting and a highlight of my day, making small inside jokes with us or sharing stories. And of course, your admiration of books, movies, video games, and all other fiction. Being your TA this year has made me rediscover how lucky I was to have you as a teacher. Anna Marie Wilson, honoring Ms. Carolyn Farrell. Next up, we have Keith Wilson, son of Greg and Jenny Wilson, honoring Mr. James Worf. When I first met Mr. Worf, my freshman year of high school, it was at soccer call-outs, and he was the new coach. At first glance, he definitely looked like a soccer player to me, and I figured I'd stick around and have some fun. I think it shocked everyone how hard Mr. Worf pushed us that first year, as he continues to do, but he was so hard on us during the summer that when school started, we were all surprised by how nice he was as a teacher. We all thought he was playing tricks on us and were confused and scared that it meant we would have to run more after school. But surprisingly, Mr. Worf is one of the kindest, most selfless, and most sarcastic people I have ever come to know. After I learned to understand his sarcastic jokes and comments, I started to TA for him. I can't count how many times I have had to remind him to grab something out of his office because he forgot and was more concerned about getting his coffee. Nevertheless, TAing for Worf is always a good time. Whether he plays kickball with his students and really gets into the game, shares life advice, or we talk about bears for an hour, even if I never seem to get any work done while I'm there, as many of my teachers would probably guess. But in my defense, Worf loves to talk, and who am I to say that I don't? As Worf has told me, rest is a key part to recovery, and that's what I do while TAing in his class, recover from school. That's Keith Wilson honoring Mr. James Worf. And next we have Duncan Yandell, son of Eric Yandell and Carolyn Yandell. Favorite educator is Ms. Lohmuller. Choosing my favorite teacher was definitely a tough choice, but Ms. Lohmuller was one of the first teachers that came to mind after I received the invitation letter. Ms. Lohmuller is my favorite educator because she is one of the few teachers that genuinely make me enjoy school more while also effectively teaching me what I need to know. I also admire that if a student does understand any particular material, Ms. Lohmuller will work it out with them, no matter how long it takes, and do her best to help them understand. Even outside the classroom, Ms. Lohmuller actively helps with several school organized events like the Best Friend Survey, school dances. It further amazes me that she manages to balance teaching and grading with organizing school events and managing the extracurricular science Olympiad team. I considered joining it, and almost solely because she encouraged me to do so. Ms. Lohmuller's incredible time management skills and hard work ethic inspire me to try even just a little bit harder every day, despite everything that has made this year so much more difficult. There have been several times this year when my motivation has almost run out, but Ms. Lohmuller has been one of the people to help me regain that motivation to continue reaching for my future goals, as well as help me discover more of those goals. This year in particular, I have gained lots of personal goals and motivation from various people. Ms. Lohmuller being one of them. She is one of the people that inspired me to go to college, and although I'm not sure if I will pursue this path, she has also inspired me to consider teaching as a career path. At the end of the day, Ms. Lohmuller is a great source of inspiration and motivation for myself and those around me, and I hope that she continues to be that source of inspiration for many future classes to come. That is Duncan Yandell talking about Ms. Lohmuller. Okay. And that is it. Thank you.
If I've not had the privilege to meet you yet, my name's Scott Vanderay, and I'm the superintendent. And I want to let you know, a couple months ago, I first met Mrs. Stout, and she explained to me about the Council for Academic Excellence, and I've been anxiously awaiting this day to be a part of all of you earning this prestigious award. She explained the point system and all that it takes to earn this, so I do want to say congratulations to all of you to making it here today and earning this honor. I really enjoyed the speeches because I like hearing about the educators that have helped and inspired you along the way to get to this point, and that inspiration that I'm sure will carry on into the future for next year and after graduation. I do want to request that all of you thank your parents, because it has always been shown that studies show that the parent involvement at home helps set students up for more success. So make sure you thank them. And I do have a challenge for all of you, whether you have 8 weeks left this year as a senior, or those of you that are juniors have a whole nother year, is make sure you're back here earning this award again next year. Don't fall into that disease called senioritis, so make sure you finish strong. And Mr. Rob's going to give some remarks.
Thank you. Before I talk briefly, I want to remind all juniors, all of our junior award recipients, if you'd come down front when the banquet is over for a picture, and Ms. Williams will guide you at that point on what she wants you to do. I would like to thank the council. On behalf of the Benton Central junior high staff, junior and senior high staff, I'd like to thank the council for putting this event on. I know this year was an extra amount of work to put the 2 programs together. I appreciate all the readers and everybody else who played a part today. I would like to congratulate all the students, your parents, and your favorite educators who were honored here today. And in closing, I'd like to leave you with one thought. In the last year has taught us a lot about the world and the people in it. And I think it has really taught us all to hold the people we care about a little closer, care a little more about our fellow man, and to not take for granted the little things, the things we thought we didn't know were so important in our lives, like this banquet. So I appreciate everybody being here. I know that each of you as students will do great things in your lives. But I do want to challenge you to always remember where those opportunities came from in your community that you grew up in, and to come back and to give back to it. Thank you, everyone. Hope everyone has safe travels on the way home. And once again, all of our juniors, if you'd come down front for a picture. Thank you.